Hey, everybody, how are you doing? I pray that you are well, holding on to your seats. Um, there's someone painted in orange who I hope is not holding on to his seat, but that's just me. Um, so tonight's show is going to be very, very busy. Um, as you know, we are waiting for the outcome of the presidential election. It is very, very, what's the word? Nerve wracking. Is that the phrase I want to use? I think so. I want to say what's up to Pops and thank him as always for being the first one on and giving us these goodies so that I don't have to. And reminding everyone that you're listening and watching in the basement with Javon and Therese on WJBR Internet Radio. And tonight we have a crazy, fabulous panel coming up. First up is going to be the phenomenal Stanley Bennett Clay, four-time NAACP Image Award winner, author, uh, screenwriter, playwright, um, actor, director, all things, everything, just sweetheart, good guy. I love him to pieces. Stanley Bennett Clay. And we will have the beautiful, once uh, um, a beauty queen, always a beauty queen, the legendary songstress, Miss Linda Clifford. We have the phenomenal Nathan James coming up. He is an outstanding journalist who actually works for and or is affiliated with NBC News. And we have the Reverend, my pastor, for the past probably 15, 16, 17 years, something like that, Kevin E. Taylor. And he is a phenomenal orator, his a wordsmith. The man loves words, and when you speak to him, you get to know that. He'll be coming in later in the show. He's also affiliated with BET, as he had his own talk show on BET at one point. And speaking of people who once had their own show, our co-hostess with the mostest is a celesbian.
What the hell is that? What the hell is a lesbian?
That's
I
you and
tell
me.
you.
That's you and I.
Okay. So lesbians. That's a new
Yes.
one. Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah, that's what we are. But anyway, of R&B diva fame. Trust me, when I say famous, we go out together, or at least before the world was upside down on its ass. We would go outside together and people would be like, "Aren't you? Aren't you?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, I am. Bye." That
Oh well,
that's my Resi Poo, y'all. That's my Resi Poo. I'm so glad.
silky smooth. How are you? How are you?
Let me tell you, I was talking to Stan a few minutes ago, and just speaking with him started me coming back out of this thing that I was just in.
Well, can we take a unified deep breath?
Everyone, deep unified breath.
Uh-oh.
It's the times that we're living in.
Yeah. Well, happy Wednesday, Silky Smooth. This day came real fast. There's a super amount of anxiety in the world, um, and hope in the world. And, hush, Loretta. and and just so much more. I've managed to get some sleep today because I did some volunteering, and super tired. Just hope that, I heard we won Michigan, and we drilling down on Georgia. Come on, Georgia. Let's take this out. And I like everybody else, just waiting for the outcome. Now, you know, I think for me the saddest part about this all is that how many people, like, to me it shouldn't even be a close race. To me, this is like, it just shouldn't be close, and it's unfortunate because we've discovered what we don't want to know about our country, you know? Like, this place was made. What's that grammar school song that we sung? You sang it, Jay.
I sang it.
This land was made for you and me. I'm just thinking, this
Yes.
land is your land. That one.
Yep.
Yeah, and it just feels like a place that we need to. But you know what? One good thing is we're at the bottom. Started from the bottom, we're gonna have to go up from here. And yes, Pop, if Biden wins Arizona and Nevada, he wins the election. Absolutely. And I know that Arizona and Nevada are still on the loose right now. They're still tallying votes, and they're also still those military votes.
Yep.
So we may have a while. I'm thinking they're talking about getting to those next week. And it is what it is. Like, we're going to have to wait this out in all its glory. But meanwhile, stay vigilant. The fact that jackass, see, I'm having Tourette's moments, because, my head starts to twitch and everything. But the fact that jackass came on at 2 o'clock in the morning talking about, I was just like, where they do that at? Like he just, and his people around him. You know how you have just let this serve as if you have nobody, if you are uncheckable by everybody in your cipher, there's something wrong with your cipher, and they don't want you to grow and go nowhere. Like, they've basically just said to you indirectly that you can't grow or evolve any better, and what you are right now is all you're ever going to be if you are uncheckable in your own cipher. But what did you see? You saw the dog and monkey show with the kids coming out and the wife and everybody clapping. And, this is the latest press conference. You didn't have to have one. You could have talked to your people in your back office. Like, what the hell did the American people need to do? But see, that's more the stirring and the divisiveness and the bullshit. And to think you won an election that hadn't been counted yet? That's just Jackass Jones shit. It really is. And it's annoying. And I think that people are tired of the smoke and mirrors. I think that people are really, like, grown very, very ill of you. Like, this is not a reality show. This is real life. And you're supposed to be a president for the people, but you can't even be a man for yourself. So at the end of the day, bad choice. Yeah, I'm talking as if he's in front of me, but I swear to you, like, if I could have been Kamala Harris for 20 minutes on stage with his jackass vice president.
Well, I think The Fly said it all.
Yeah. I saw a lot of flies for Halloween too. Hilarious. Like,
So let me just take a moment and say hello to everyone who's watching. I just had to let you get that out because you were like,
yeah, I'm distorted,
Yeah,
man.
I feel you. I feel you, Terezi. I
The
feel
sleepier I get, the less articulate I get, because it comes down to a whole bunch of
it's
course.
just coming out. It's just coming out. So what's up, Loretta? Hey again, Pops. We love you.
Hey,
Sandra
Sandra.
Hudson, what's up? She said, "What's up, ladies? What's up with you, love?"
She,
And Sharon Bitty Bit from Walt Taylor's OSMG. So that's right. That's right. What's up to OSMG? We don't see Walt on, but how you doing anyway, Walt? See, you could tell him that we talk about him behind his back, Sharon, but we do it with love. Love, love,
absolutely.
love. We love him. We love him.
Yes, we do.
He's our dude. He's our dude. We know he's cheating on us, but he's he's out with another woman tonight, Therese, but it's all
Is
good.
he?
Yes, he is. It's okay though. We love him. We love him.
Okay.
There's enough room at the table for, even when we serving up Walt.
Super, super cool dude.
Yes, he's a good human being. Thank you so much, Sharon. Sharon, let me just ask if maybe not so much tonight because I think we'll be doing more talking than anything else. But the YouTube page, WJBR Internet Radio, is always the best way to catch this show as opposed to the Facebook page because Facebook tends to kick us out. For example, the show that we did with Dawn Robinson,
Hmm.
Facebook had blackened it right after the show or maybe during the show, I'm not even sure. But Facebook cut us off and it was because we showed the video um within Vogue, the one where they're wearing the red, giving him something he can feel. So
Hmm.
they struck that down and everything. And once we provided the license, they went into this wait and see thing. Meanwhile, somebody was saying to me, "Oh, I was trying to look at the video, go back and look at the video with Dawn Robinson, but I couldn't see it." So I had to send them over to YouTube and give them the YouTube link. And then Dawn was on last week Wednesday, was it?
Yeah.
She was on last week Wednesday. Tonight, we just got that video back up. I think it was Warner Brothers released their claim on it, accepting our license. But I'm just saying there was one person, at least one person, who reached out to me personally who wanted to watch it, couldn't watch it. Everybody's not going to reach out. So I'm just saying, if you're watching on Facebook, whether it be my personal page or on the In the Basement with Javon and Therese page, WJBR Internet Radio is the best way to catch us so that you don't get kicked out, and also it's the place where you can see our back shows, the shows that we've done with others. um yeah, so I wanted to say that there was something else I wanted to say. I don't remember what it was, but whatever. Anyway, don't forget WJBR Internet Radio also has a 24-hour radio station, and we play all kinds of music and all kinds of stuff. Just more than what you would get from seeing us live. You can listen to us all day and all night. There's a website, www.wjbrinternet.com, where you can also buy some merch, some Javon and Therese merch, In the Basement merch. And you can also see pictures, videos. The radio station is there. Everything is there. It's just a bunch of fun. So check that out. How you doing, Misty J? Yes. Um, yeah, so Sharon says, yes, she had a hard time getting on. Yeah, YouTube is the best bet. And Tara says, a very delusional president that's in office, I guess, and his followers are hilarious. I do believe they're not really worried about Biden. They're very intimidated with Kamala, and they should be. And you're absolutely right, Tara.
Oh, now that is a whole different subject. That is a whole different subject.
Black womanhood
Woo,
in the White House. Okay.
woo, woo.
Okay.
And see, they were upset. They couldn't even take Michelle's biceps.
You know,
Now we got a now we getting ready to have a vice president.
with the
that ain't here for the shits.
Let me tell you, there was one time, I don't remember what was going on, but there was some presidential dinner thing going on where everybody's sitting at the table, and these people had been giving Barack shits. Okay, they had been giving him all kinds of fits, speaking to him disrespectfully, and everything he tried to do, they was shutting it down and blah blah. And one of them tried to come to the table to say something nice to Michelle. She cut that man a look. He backed up like scared, and I was like, "Yeah, that's it." And then she smiled, and therein lies a piece of the power. It's in the face. It's in the face.
Hmm.
Our expressions.
The energy. I think the face, um, like energy is palpable. You know, like I don't know about you, but my mother could, her eyes could make us levitate when we were little.
Mm, mhm.
Like we didn't have to say anything else. Like if she shot us a look, we knew that we were out of line, and immediately our mouths closed. I don't know what that was, but
Well,
I
it's
think
another
that
look.
it's a spirit that a lot of Black women carry organically. It's not something that you can learn to do. You either have to have it or you don't, and that's usually in the lines of disciplinary. So, Kamala definitely has it. If I had to say anything about the Harris Biden camp, is that it would be wonderful to see her spread her wings in that role and really do something else. I'm not gonna say separate from, but just also we can understand who she is as a leader in that lane, and not be in Biden's shadow. He needs help.
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, he does. And she is that strength, that additional strength that he's going to need. And so I'm sorry. But you know what?
Yes, that's a lot.
There is
You're
a
funny. You're
reason
funny.
why I'm sorry, but there's the reason why the people who are attracted to the show are attracted to the show. That is right up that is a Javonism right there.
See, I only think it. I wouldn't say it, but I tell you something. I appreciate a great not so joke.
Ah. Yo, you wasn't bad at all. That
No, not at
we,
all.
we could use that levity. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I thrive on it. But that dream I told you about last night, that was real.
Oh God. You know what?
No, that was real. I couldn't even believe it because as much as I speak and wish and think and dream and recall things that never happened, I guess that's called a fantasy, right? I don't know. But anyway, I don't dream like that. But what a dream it was.
Okay.
Have you
Okay.
ever
Listen, we're gonna leave that off the tonight's discussion.
Hey, Levon. How you
Fine.
doing, darling? Oh my God. I'm so glad that you joined us and I'm glad that you broke that up for a minute. But yes, Loretta, I'm gonna have to call you girl and tell you about my dream. I want the world to know. Wow, what had
No,
happened. What
no,
had happened was
no, you don't. You don't want to know. Tammy too much. Just the fact that Tammy, I knew that was coming. Tammy too much. Yeah,
wow.
Tammy too much.
Life could really be a dream. Remember that old song? Life could be a dream, should he? Whatever. You know
So,
what?
so where are we now with this monstrosity of an election? Where are we now? We are where exactly? Okay,
Well, family, let me just tell you that right now, Mr. Biden has
264.
what did he just pick up? Arizona?
Michigan girl.
No. We already knew about Michigan. Did he pick up something else? No.
Michigan. He picked up Michigan.
No, he been picked up Michigan and had 253. I'm looking at the television because I'm glued. But I see he has 253. But if you have something that says 264, that might mean he picked up another state.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, let's just see. What did Biden pick up? Let us see
'Cause
here.
I'm still looking at yeah, Biden 253 and the other guy at 214 is what I see on the television. So
253 and Stump is at 214
14.
according to CNN. Yeah, 253 and 214.
Okay, so we're waiting for Atlanta, Arizona.
Arizona, I think he got. Didn't Biden get Arizona?
Not yet. They haven't called it yet. And Nevada, he'll probably get as well. So yeah, and Atlanta's going to be big. Atlanta's going to be big, and prayerfully, it will go towards Mr. Biden, and we will be calling him President Biden, and I'll be glad to call him that. One thing I'm very upset about, but I wanted to wait
Oh,
until
Wisconsin.
yes, but we knew that one too.
Hmm.
So as it stands right now, he's still at 253.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he did get Michigan, he did get Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing in that blue wall that's missing is Pennsylvania. Um, and we don't know how that's going to shake out. That could be a while. But even if he doesn't get Pennsylvania, which would be a damn shame, there's
Georgia.
still other avenues, you know. All right, I guess I'll post that real quick. All right, I'll now bring it down. I'm trying to be PC, sorta. I'll be the only one because definitely, what is political correctness right now? That's a whole other topic.
Listen, I don't know. I don't even know what that means, quite frankly. I just know that this is I know a shit show when I see one. And I know, and we already knew he was going to throw a tantrum because that's just what he does when he doesn't get his way, you
Oh,
know.
what exactly happened at 2 o'clock in the morning? Because I was sleeping. I was
That mofo came on live television and he held a press conference in the middle of the elections being tallied, talking about he won. And he, just he's just such a fraud. He's just such a he said if he doesn't win, it's a fraud. It's fraudulent activity, basically. And I'm like, the only fraudulent activity is that you are having this press conference at 2 o'clock in the morning, thinking you won an election that ain't been finished, they ain't been tallied yet. And that should show you he must have some on-site something happening because he's delusional. He's a train wreck. Atlanta mail-in ballots need to be counted still. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm hope Atlanta, Georgia, hear me clearly. For as many transplants that I know that have moved to Atlanta, Georgia. See, no, we're not talking about Georgia proper. We are talking about Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, Georgia. If y'all didn't put this clown to rest, you ain't got to worry about me ever taking a flight down there no more. Ever.
it's so funny. And hi Sonia, I've missed seeing you here, sweetheart. Um, we've been talking about retirement. Well, not we. I've been talking about retiring and thinking about what I want to do and where I might want to land myself. And it would be nice to go to either Atlanta or a suburb near Atlanta. Um, somewhere warm, maybe Florida. I ain't going to none of them state. No, I don't want to be around none of them people. Maybe I will just sit. I'm accustomed to the winter.
Listen, I say like this, man. Like, if you are going to start denying people rights based on what you think they should have, right? Blacks, gays, whatever, then I think that there need to be some serious tax exemptions going on.
Exactly.
Because anywhere you go, if you are short, you there's some compensation involved. If you
Nobody's
do
compensated me because I'm short.
it, if you are if you come up short in a service in a okay, let me say it this way. If you live in an apartment building
Oh, okay.
and there are services, amenities that they list to lure you. It could be a view, it could be a gym, it could be whatever it is. And in your Tennessee, they fail to provide that particular amenity. That makes you automatically eligible for a rent reduction. Period.
Right.
It is what it is. If they build that building as a security and pools and all that extra stuff that we like, and in your Tennessee they fail to provide any of that, that makes you eligible for a rent reduction. So I liken that to, if living in this country you are not afforded everything at this point equally, opportunity, whatever it is, service, doesn't matter, then that should make you eligible for a tax deduction or abatement completely. Done. Why am I paying taxes if my services are being limited based on what you think of my life?
It's true.
Get out of here.
It's true.
Be gone.
If I can't get married, then why am I paying full taxes? If I can't sign the same license that any other adult American can sign, if my wife or husband can't make decisions in a hospital or whatever it is. And you're right, I am vertically challenged, not short by any means. Thank you, Pops. But Pops is saying he's leaving us for a whole month.
Yeah, he's not leaving us though.
He's
He's
not,
just
he's
he's
just
just going
leaving
to Atlanta. He's got an Atlanta family. He's got to go do pops.
Atlanta stuff, right?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Atlanta. Have always loved Atlanta, but the politics down there suck ass. They really do. And
Yeah,
I'm just saying Georgia. Now, you have a mayor down there now that's kick ass. I personally believe you have
yeah.
a president down
Bottom.
there.
I'll
Okay.
never forget that name.
Huh?
Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Yes. Yeah.
Love,
Yeah.
love her.
Love anybody that can take it to power,
Yep,
and she had a few choice words for that governor. She sure did.
absolutely.
You don't get anywhere playing small. And I don't know what the and people want to toss around this angry black woman thing. And my thing is, y'all act like black women, white women, women of all don't have a lot to be angry about. So y'all don't want us angry. So stop doing shit to make us angry. Because you
Ex-
can't handle us either way. You can't handle us happy. You can't handle us angry. So stop doing shit if you know you don't want to be called to task. And black women particularly have a unique way of calling folk to task when they fall short.
Exactly. And Stanley was saying earlier that when we were talking privately that, you know, he was saying as a black man, I have to bow down. We all owe you because, the real deal is that black women carry this not only our people but the people. We are mother to all people, and some of our children have just gone buck wild astray. And some kind of way, we got to rein them back in. And I think that Kamala is one person to start it.
As
Like,
if she's allowed and people don't get intimidated because it is what it is. You can be real close and real ready. Hold on, my cat wants to leave the room. Hold on, I have to let her out before she acts up.
no problem. And I'm gonna start with one song, "Power of One." Let's do it.
La 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 la. Whoa, whoa. What if it all depended on me to change the world, to change the world? What if my only responsibility was to change the world, change the world? Let me be the one to start a revolution. Let me sing my song to the people of the world. It all begins with one, the power of one, joining the hundreds of millions of people believing in one, the power of one. Don't hang around, stand up or sit down and believe we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together. Oh, oh, oh. What kind of love can conquer disease and change the world? Change the world. What can I do to make poverty history and change the world? Change the world. Let me be the one to start a revolution. Let me sing my song to the people of the world, yeah, to the children of the world. It all begins with one, the power of one, joining the hundreds of millions of people believing in one, the power of one. Don't hang around, stand up or sit down and believe we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together, please don't close your eyes. Please don't turn away. That voice is rise, put on display and make a difference now. I believe you and me can make a difference now. Oh, 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 one, the power of one, joining the hundreds of millions of people believing in one, the power of one. Don't hang around, stand up or sit down and believe we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together, we can change the world. Together. Oh, 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 it all begins with
Have you ever felt your love so
I'm sorry. That's just my go-to right after that song. I like to play Blueprint. You know, certain songs just go well,
Uh,
really well together. So I just like to, but I'm not gonna take us all the way through the Blueprint. Although I still see the
but that
video with you coming out of a lab or something with some Monifa bubbling up and well, not bubbling up, but like she's mixing stuff that's bubbling and there's a blueprint on the table and she's like creating some masterful something and then you walk out. Not T.I., Therese. Okay? You walk out. I think the people would like that. They would appreciate it and they would think it's honest and they would think in their minds because people apparently, whatever the hell they see, they believe to be the truth. Whatever we tell them, that's what they believe.
mm,
Hold on. Cheryl is calling me in the middle of my show. It must be important. Hello?
you can't hear.
Wait, say that again. What'd you say?
I thought you said you were starting every day at 8 o'clock.
Starting everything like what at 8 o'clock?
Your show, the panel and all that.
No, my show always starts at 7 o'clock. I said that
Okay,
if you wanted to join us, I would send you a link.
right. I know.
And then you would be on at 8 o'clock.
I said 7 o'clock, and you said no 8 o'clock. Okay, I was just calling to say I won't be home till after 8, so I won't be able to be a panelist, but I will. I'll tune in. I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Well, is this something we need to discuss?
No, Ruby. No. I'm just on my way home from this. No.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So,
So
everybody, since our conversation is obviously like public knowledge.
yeah, no, you say hi to everybody because you are live.
Hey, Cheryl.
Therese says hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Therese.
All right. All right, get home safe, all right?
Okay, we'll be bye.
Bye.
See how you could do that? I could never do that because I would never know what my beloved would say out of her mouth.
And the only reason I did that is because I know what Cheryl's gonna say.
Oh,
Basically.
oh.
I know what's gonna. It ain't gonna be it. What she's not Mo. No, I don't know what Mo comes on. I don't know what she's gonna say, which makes her very interesting and fun.
Hmm.
Okay, she said, "Oh, I'm in trouble. I ain't in no trouble. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. I'm always in trouble. I'm always in trouble, Levon.
That's true.
Just like, when am I not in trouble? This probably more times that yeah. Anyway, but so Rezi, while I was playing the song, I was able to see that somebody posted something that on Fox News they actually called Arizona for Trump. I mean for Biden and gave him the 11 points, the 11 electorate, and which is why you saw something that said 264. It's only Fox News doing that.
No, I actually saw it. No, I Googled. This was Google because when you Google the 2020 election results come up.
And it might be something from Fox, no, because CNN hasn't, and
see, President.
CNN and MSNBC have not yet called.
See, this is where they have it right now. This is the Associated Press. Oh wait.
To the left, my sister, to the left.
Okay.
Up a little bit. To the side. All right, let me see. Who's this? Okay.
This is AP.
Oh, the Associated Press. They're calling it early. Okay.
Yeah. Because I guess what they do is they do the math on it. They see how far he is behind and what's left.
Likely.
Whatever left can't, they project based on what's left, there. But, like again, the fat lady is warming up, but she hasn't quite stayed yet. So we just have to wait till she sings, and it's going to be what's going to be. But at the end of the day, we are nice. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
throw on my shirt
yeah.
as a reminder, that there's so much at stake. There's so much. And, there I don't like doing this because it feels divisive. But what I will say to all of our people of color, who may not have voted for Biden and Kamala,
Dumbasses.
God forbid you are struck down by an officer or by white supremacist group or something of that nature. Which administration do you think would be concerned about your family? Which administration would be in contact with your mother, your sisters, your brother, your wife, your kids? Which administration would, and I can't pretend to know that people genuinely care.
I
I can't. Yeah. Hold on. I can't say that either Biden or Kamala genuinely care about you as a human being, that they don't know you personally, but you get struck down and all of a sudden they love you. I'm not saying that, but there is something in the act. There's something to be taken away from somebody who is willing to reach out, as opposed to someone who will defend that police officer that shot you down unnecessarily or wrongfully killed you. And let me just be clear. See, this is where I start now, Rez, because you made me turn off my music, even subliminally. Subliminally. Right. Here's what gets me.
What gets you, Silky?
If you are voting the same way as the Ku Klux Klan, if you and the Ku Klux Klan agree, and you're a black person, and you're talking about policies, not agreeing that the sky is blue, talking about policies that not only affect you, affect your children, your friends, your family, your neighbors, and you agree with the Klan, you need to maybe stop and think about what you're agreeing to.
Well, I put it like this. The only thing
And
the pumpkin, the great pumpkin, has been honest about is who he is. He hasn't lied one way since he existed. See, I'm a New Yorker and known the great pumpkin for a minute,
right.
and he's always been that felonious. He's always been that fraudulent. So he's consistent. What he should not be. He's never been for the people, so he should not have ever been elected in that chair. And I believe that him being elected was as a default, and to a lot of long-lived white supremacy that existed. And until we come to reckoning with that as a country, and until and it's not my job as a woman of color, a black woman particularly, to educate, correct, give you a blueprint on how to dismantle white supremacy. That is something you need to talk to white folks about if you are white. What I can do is simply call it when I see it and ask you to switch it up. But I'm not going to be able to change, like nobody is, what's in your heart to do. Because if people wanted it stopped, it would have been stopped a long time ago. If people thought that what's happening to my brethren is my concern, It would have been stopped. We could have put a lid on this a long time ago, but it's going to have to be white folks that do it. And at the end of the day, what electing the Great Pumpkin has done for the country is done more divided, and this is a new set of folks this is landing on, and they're not having it. And if they got to take to the streets, and this is a global situation, but specifically here in the United States, we need to make it the liberty and justice for all, because we've never shown up as that, ever. There needs to be some things of great reckoning in this country, and we need to be able to level it out to start. So, like any other thing, it always gets worse before it gets better. Well, we've had the worst. We've seen the devil. He sat in our living rooms for 4 years. Let's see if we can get him out, learn from what we don't want enough to move ahead with what we do. And for anyone new coming into office, that's be it council person, Senate, House of Representatives, just hold them to the fire. Because now we're watching in a way that we haven't watched before. The devil got in through our back door, and he didn't sneak. He didn't come in at night. She strolled in,
Yeah.
and he was home. So at the end of the day, we just need to make sure it's not happening. But whatever happens in this election, we will move on. We will move on.
Yeah, it's extremely upsetting though that the damn Senate, we couldn't flip that Senate. Oh, that really gets me. That really gets me because they are going to stronghold and try to stop every single little thing that Biden and Kamala try to do. And that's basically what they did with Barack.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you're essentially saying that, and honestly, this was bound to happen. But let me read something to you. It's a quote that comes from someone near and dear to me, and here's her quote: "Our anxiety comes from the desire to have things be different. There's going to be the day after the election, which we clearly are in, and the day after that. And we need to be present to what is, regardless to what the outcome is that you want. My ancestors had to prepare themselves over and over again for moving toward a freedom that was nowhere in sight. We prepare for life as it unfolds, not our ideal image of it. That is literally the only path forward. So we prepare for life as it unfolds and not our ideal image of it, which is another clever way of saying stay in the moment. Anxiety comes from projecting, things and being fearful of the outcomes and a whole lot of other things. Depression, we know, is the opposite. It's about living in the past and not being able to disconnect from things that have caused trauma in the past or situations where there's been extreme sadness in the past that, but at this point in the game, we just have to stay in the moment, stay strategic. And like I said before, some of us know how to eat mayonnaise sandwiches. We know what that is. Others of us have to have it cushy to exist. But, there's a whole lot of us that understand what that is and know how to get through. We have a sense of community that we have gotten away from, that I think we would benefit from learning how to reenact again. Big mamas ain't 70 and 80 years old now. Big mamas are more like 40 and 35 now, unfortunately. So we have to, get that somewhat in order too, to be able to have a sense of community where we depend on each other and we rely on each other and we took care of each other's children and we did all those things that help us, and we got together in groups to demand for things like school, education, lunches, whatever it was, we come from a spirit of things that, I don't want to see go,
Absolutely.
How many of y'all that live in apartment buildings know your neighbors? I'm not just talking about 2 or 3, depending on the ratio of your building. Do you know everybody that lives on your floor? On your block, Who are some of the families that live there? Stuff like that. Growing up, we knew everybody on the block for blocks and blocks and blocks.
That's right. And they all knew your mother.
Somebody, you know.
Exactly, exactly.
I'm excited to have all of our folk on. I'm excited to hear Nathan's take. I'm excited to hear Stanley's take. I'm super, super excited to hear Thelma's take on it. And I am extremely ecstatic, as I always am, to see the great Kevin E. Taylor weigh in on that. Just brilliant minds, and I'm grateful to have them all on together in a few.
Exactly, exactly. I want to play a song right now. Faith Evans, Kelly Price, and Jessica Reedy. But before I do, what's her name? I'm doing a lot, even though y'all can't tell necessarily. But Misty J says something about a congressman elected in Kansas, 20 years old, and already a reported sex offender by 14. I don't even get that. I didn't hear about that.
Mm.
And you don't speak to people around you. I like to know the people that live in my building, because that's darn near living in my house. I know, living in an apartment building, it's different, but it's good to know who your neighbors are, and you know it's just a good thing.
You have to.
And Vaughn says, I know one of them sings horribly and at the top of her lungs. Who are you talking? Who is she talking about?
One of her neighbors.
Oh, I thought she was talking about me. Well, I do sing horribly at the top of my lungs, but I try not to do it in front of y'all too much. But yeah, it works your nerves. I get that. So get to know her. Maybe you could get her to sing on key. Maybe she's just waiting for a friend. Let's play the song, and then we'll get back to a little music, and then we'll get back to talking, and we will start introducing our guests. I don't know where Stan went. He was chilling out for a while, and then oh Lord, there she is, Miss America.
Jazz hands. Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hi, how you doing? How are you holding up?
Jay.
How you holding up with all of this, Mama?
Funny you'd ask. No. Really,
I was gonna send you your own link. I was gonna send you a link and Cheryl a link, but Cheryl called me to say that you don't want to be.
I know.
She don't.
So you asked me. Oh, okay. The real talk, really straightforward. The bottom line, to me, it doesn't make a difference who is elected, right? When I say it doesn't make a difference, it doesn't make a difference in what we still need to do, what I still need to do as an individual to make sure that I'm represented, the people that I care about and love, that we are represented, that there are policies put in place for people that like myself, whatever I'm doing, and the people that look like me and from where I come from, so we can get some equal footing. First of all, I think the whole house needs to be
vacuumed.
Vacuum. The whole damn house needs to be
fumigated.
Torn down. No, it needs to be torn down all the way. Torn down and ripped from the root, so to speak, right? And we also have to start telling the truth about America and what America is and what it has always been. And I don't think that when I say white people, I mean the white people as in the system of white people, right? That has been put in place, that this country was built on the backs, blood, sweat, tears, and violence. That was I can't find the word. It just perpetuate. Right. You said what?
I said I don't remember, but you just
perpetrated. Absolutely, the violence that was perpetrated upon us to my people and people that look like me. So, and unless we start telling those truths and the truths of what we need to stop waiting for somebody to come save us, and we need to change Constitution, because everything that, in my opinion, I told baby this yesterday. I'm going to post something that I did my thing in the car, right? And we have to start telling the truth all the way around, everybody. We have to be involved, and we have to stop waiting for somebody to come save us, because it doesn't matter for us who's in the White House. It doesn't.
It never has.
It never has.
Right.
And we're absolving ourselves in a sense. I don't want to say everybody, but I have to include myself, up until now, because I think that there's some things that we need to change on a constitutional level. We need to become humans in the Constitution, because everything that they're doing to people of color, Black people,
not human.
We're not. They don't have to, because we're not even considered human within the Constitution of the United States of America, right? So, I mean, I know that's a big broad brush, but there's a foundation of absolute right there. Like we could start there. We could start a coalition to get that shit changed.
Right.
So who's with us? Because I'm red.
I'm red. I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about the right stuff. We have the underbelly of the underbelly, the shit in the middle, and the superfluous shit on the top. That is so shallow. You know what I'm saying? And we haven't dug down deep to the root.
Exactly.
We haven't.
Exactly.
And we're not holding ourselves accountable, because we're still waiting for something. It's not going to make a difference. So I just want everybody to know, we still, first of all, it doesn't make a difference, because we've been surviving and living and still thriving as much as possible within a system that was designed to keep the foot on our neck.
Right.
Could you imagine if we actually put some action, some verb behind it? But we got to start at some real places, and we got to tell the truth. And white America has to be ready to hear it. I don't think they're interested.
No, it's what we're dealing with right now is a shift of power. It's a shift of power,
right.
And we knew it was coming, and you can't have enough. And I was having a conversation with someone else I respect, and she said something that really resonated. And that was, what we are reckoning, what we are living in right now is a change of power. And the change of power comes because once upon a time, when this was put together, there was a very, very small population of folks of color. Then we have immigration, everybody coming over, and now it's a big old melting pot of wonderfulness. And there's a certain folk that don't see themselves as the majority anymore, despite making all of the rules for this society. The people that are in it now are saying, listen, that doesn't apply to me or my culture. So what we're living in right now is a change of power. We knew this was coming, and they can't have enough white babies to control it.
Yeah.
To level it out. They just can't. So at the end of the day, there is and I think on another level, there is an understanding or perhaps a fear that we will do the same thing.
Oh, there is.
That they have done to us.
They know that that's not true.
When we are, but that doesn't mean that they don't. But see, the thing is, what we do and what people feel they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
That's not on us.
That's it.
Right.
Wait.
But we're not interested in any of that.
Remember, cousin Jane Elliott said the very same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. She said that to a group of white folks. Like they were like, "Well, if the black people are in power, won't they?" She said, "Yeah, you're afraid." She said, "All right, all the black people in the audience, how many of y'all are just waiting to wreak revenge on white people?" None of the people. Maybe one brother raised his hand. He's like, "Yeah, me. I'll kick their asses," right? One person. Then she said, "How many of you know one or two white people you would like to get revenge on?" All the black people said, "Yeah." Okay. So she said, "Look around," to the white people. She said, "Look around." She said, "Just don't be one of the people that they want to get revenge on." You
know what, Jay? If we walk in our magic, and because we are magical that way, we are not even built that way.
No, we're not.
And cellularly, we're not. As a people, we are not of that. So that stuff would happen because of our power, our spiritual power, and our magic, right? So, and let's be clear, we've never been the minority here. We would just control with fear and violence. We've never been. We've always
Still
been the
are.
majority.
Still are.
Always. And now that their foot again is not on our necks in a certain way, they did it, redlining. They did it systemically.
Right.
After they changed laws and they couldn't enslave us anymore. They enslaved us in other ways, economically, socially, those
And
types
through
of things.
incarceration.
And now
Pipeline to prison.
now we have slavery
Stupid. It is just
again.
stupid.
Mhm.
Think about it. So remember the movie about the three women, Hidden Figures, right?
Mhm.
Think about all the hidden figures in the United States, all the black folks who have either created something or added to something.
Come on.
Like
I'm sorry.
all
I'm
of
going to go out on a limb here. We did it all.
right. So,
It's all lies.
so with that proverbial foot on our necks,
Right.
so
And them hiding and not telling the truth.
right.
There's
So
also a way of-
imagine though
Mhm.
what this country could have been and still could be if our power, our spirituality, our knowledge, our wisdom, our creativity was embraced. Instead, what are you
reverenced.
right?
And good night.
Right.
I love you.
But Mo, Jesus.
No, I love you. It should be
I love you
reverenced.
too.
Let's be
But
clear.
I'm just saying, imagine how great we could all be. And look, white people, you would benefit because guess what? This is your country too.
Yeah, but the unfortunate side of that too, Jay, is, and you're absolutely, what you're saying is the gospel.
But does that make
Right.
sense?
Of course it. You asking me if that makes sense?
No, but I'm just saying not the thought, but the way I'm articulating it. Am I?
Yes,
clear?
it makes all the sense in the world. But
Absolutely.
but not if you are coming from you remember now what founded the country.
I got that, but after a while, you know better. When
Do you
No.
do you know better?
you gotta know better. You think
You
turtle?
You sound extremely optimistic, but I only know what you show me.
And we're not talking about people that happen to be white, because I believe in that. People that happen to be white and white people and whiteness. Whiteness.
Okay. But I feel like if
Right,
if I'm the coach of a basketball team, right? And I know that there's some players that if I just allowed them the opportunity to ball out, they're gonna ball out.
But you're speaking from a place that is not of lack.
Let them,
You're not speaking from a place of greed, fear, lack, and ineptitude. Right?
right.
I'm not saying all, but if the shoe fit,
And if I shine, it's of no deficit of yours.
I shine.
You know what I mean? If I shine, there's no deficit of yours. You're not. In order for me to exist, you can also coexist.
Exactly.
But that was not the thinking of the majority.
And we do it so much better when we all do it together. I'm talking about black, white, brown, Asian. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
But if I'm insecure and selfish and greedy, okay? If I'm insecure, selfish, and greedy, I cannot. There's nothing good going to come of that for myself or for anybody else.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's what it is. And if my God is money, oh my God, toss that in the mix. Please, I'll step on anybody's necks to get it, because at the end of the day, it's not black or white, it's green.
Hello.
So, I mean, it is what it is. Because if that's the case, it should be everybody's birthright in this country to have the basic fundamental things to thrive and survive. Let's give everybody a house. Let's start it off there. Boom. Let's have everybody access to education. Boom. That you don't have to pay for. Just free education and fair wages. Let's start there. These are fundamental things.
Exactly.
Food, water.
Yep.
Like if we didn't get Michigan, I was going to be like real weird about just the idea of the fact that y'all was still struggling with water.
Exactly. Let's start bringing on our panelists. I feel excited to say that because it's a new word for me. we're going to get back to your comment, Misty J, in a second. Now, I'm not sure why a forever
Mm.
beauty queen would not have her picture up. Oh, she has to connect her mic and camera. So we'll bring her on in a second. I will hit her up privately. But in the meanwhile, Nathan James is here.
Hey,
Hey, Nathan.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're good.
good.
So, Nathan, Misty J says the problem is majority of the population is not educated enough or motivated enough to think or act without direction, and the people leading get lost in the title of leader.
Mm.
That's a lot to swallow there.
Well, I will say this. I don't think that the population lacks education. We are one of the most well-educated societies in the world. What I think is going on is that when you have someone like Trump in a position of leadership who rules through fear and division rather than by example, we get a different dynamic in our country that leads to the kind of thing we see tonight, where it has been revealed to us by how close this election is, just how much we really are two very, very different societies that happen to share a common country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And one doesn't think the other should exist.
That's right.
Because we can
That's
be
right.
different. We don't have to think that the other one should not exist. You know, we have a whole lot of cultures in here that are different, a whole lot of folk that are different. We've always lived with very rich, very poor, you know. But for you to think that you're very rich should eliminate the idea of everyone else is an issue. Beyond it.
Well,
It's this greed and evil, man. When will it die? Like, when will this power hungriness, this people led by the those darkest human instincts, like just driven by that, like just divide and conquer and steal and uh, uh, and smile. I just don't get it. Like, ew.
That was a word. I loved it.
What word? Like, come on. Anyway, Nathan, talk us through this election. Where are we? What's going on? How do you see this panning out?
okay, where we are right now, according to the Associated Press, which is the guideline source for most other media agencies in the United States and around the world, Trump and Biden are at this point right now. Biden has 264 electoral votes, and Trump has 214. That puts Biden just 6 electoral votes away from winning the election, which I think is going to happen tomorrow morning when Nevada releases its final vote results. I think that Biden will be awarded Nevada's 6 electoral votes. That'll get him to 270, and the race will be over. That being said, of course, Trump is going to try and flood the election with lawsuits, and he's going to try to drag this out as long as possible. In Wisconsin, Trump has demanded a recount. In Michigan, he has challenged the validity of the voting. And of course, right here in Pennsylvania, he's throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Philadelphia because, of course, according to Trump, bad things happen in Philadelphia. But here's the thing. Trump can do all of these attempts at manipulating the outcome of the election, but they're not going to avail him very much because, okay, in Wisconsin, he wants to have a recount. Well, according to Wisconsin law, recounts have to be paid for by the campaign requesting the recount. Trump's campaign was out of money even before the election happened, so I'm not sure where they're going to come up with the cash to finance a recount if, in fact, it does happen. In Michigan, the mail-in vote is so far ahead of Trump in Biden's favor that they're going to have a hard time proving that there is fraud or malfeasance or impropriety of any kind. And in Pennsylvania, Trump can try to challenge the receipt of mail in ballots. This is the first year that Pennsylvania has ever had mail in voting. Governor Wolf authorized mail in voting because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And under Pennsylvania law, a mail in ballot can be counted up to 3 days after Election Day as long as it is postmarked by yesterday. Okay, Trump went to court a couple of times to try to reverse this. The Supreme Court shut him down. Now, Trump can sue in Pennsylvania, but in order for that lawsuit to have any value, the vote counting in Pennsylvania must be decisive to the election, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Nevada is going to get called for Biden before Pennsylvania is finished counting all the ballots, particularly right here in Philadelphia. And that's where we are right now.
I didn't know that last piece. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome the amazing Miss Linda Clifford back to the show. Thank you, Linda Clifford, for being here.
Everybody, it's my pleasure to be
We
here.
love you. So I bet you haven't had to have like more than one cup of coffee today.
I need Valium. Like, okay, I'm just saying. And a lot of it. It has been insane. I mean, not just for me, obviously, but everybody is on the edge of their seats, watching, counting.
And I think she froze.
Yep, she'll be back.
She'll be back. But Nathan, that was a phenomenal assessment of where we are. Nisi wants to know about Georgia. What about Georgia?
Well, what about Georgia? Now, Georgia's an interesting case because I think everything in Georgia is going to come down to the city of Atlanta. And the city of Atlanta, of course, is bisected by Fulton and DeKalb counties, which have different counting procedures for how they tally up their ballots. In any case, as I'm sure you're all aware, the Atlanta area is heavily minority, just like it is here in Philadelphia. And of course, this means that Atlanta is likely to go very heavily for Trump. There was a lot of, for Biden, because there was a lot of stumping on behalf of Biden, not just by the Biden campaign, by Biden, by Kamala Harris, but also by Stacey Abrams and by Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta. There was a very big get out the vote drive. And I think what we're seeing now is the payoff. I think that if Georgia is not very, very close for Biden, or that Biden carries Georgia, I'll be very, very surprised, because again, the traditional Democratic strength is in the cities. And in the cities, you have voters of color. You have more voters that are voting for the first time. In other words, millennials. And I think what you're seeing is this coalition, LGBT voters who are outside of Trump's base. This is where they cast their ballots. And this is where, as we've seen in Michigan and in Wisconsin, Georgia can be flipped.
All right.
I don't know if you mentioned it, Nathan. What I was about to say is, speaking about Georgia, Trump has recently, like in the last hour, filed a lawsuit in Georgia now. So it's not just Wisconsin and Pennsylvania that he's going. I mean, he's like, I just can't even imagine being in that White House with that man right now and what must be going on. Think about it. He's just lawsuit after lawsuit, and this one is stealing from me, and that one. Come on. It's like a little 2-year-old kid who's not getting his way, throwing a temper tantrum.
Exactly. And to Nathan's point, he ran out of money a long time ago.
Right.
And he uses the attorney general and
as his own personal attorney.
Which after January 20th, all of that nonsense stops.
Well,
thank goodness.
It should be stopped by the other Republicans that are in there. All of a sudden now you see them on TV. They're coming out a few at a time, making a comment here or a comment there. But all this 4 years that he's been doing all this crazy nonsense, and they stood back and let him get away with it.
But
Now
they
all of a
didn't.
sudden,
I
you
don't
know,
understand. I don't understand why they didn't have to pay for that. Like, why didn't their constituents make them pay for that?
I don't understand that either. I really don't. Susan Collins is back in when I saw that, I almost fell on the floor. I'm like, really?
Hmm.
I mean, just, and that's just one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are so far away from having the amount of senators in the people in the Senate that we need. I
Mhm.
think there were four more that we needed last time I checked on CNN, but I don't think we maybe got one.
Oh my God. You know what just hit me?
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right.
What?
So no, this is good stuff here.
Oh, okay.
Miss Clifford, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like
Okay.
this. All right. So it looks as though Biden and Kamala are going to, win, right? They're gonna advance. Those senators that were doing the hokey pokey with the great pumpkin
Uh-huh.
um have something to hide.
Hmm. You think?
Yeah. And I think that our soon to be VP is has a nose for criminality. And those who were not prosecuted, they need to look out because the next AG will not be Bill Barr.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you.
So we're talking about. Do you remember during the Nathan? You will be good at probably remembering this stuff. During the impeachment trials, which also is phenomenal that an impeached president is even this close. But
Hello.
an
See?
impeached pumpkin,
can-
I should say.
You can be impeached twice.
Yeah,
Just saying.
even when you're a pumpkin, you can be impeached. That's
Yeah.
the beautiful thing. But one of the senators who was sitting on in the House, I can't remember his name, but he used to be the House majority, and then it turns out that he was doing something illegal too. He's now the House minority leader because the Democrats have the House. Oh
Is
God,
this the guy
Devin
that
Nunes,
stole his Nunez?
and he was doing something
Mhm.
slimy too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got caught doing something. I can't remember exactly
I
what.
can't remember.
Maybe
It's
Nathan
been
can
so
help us with this, but I don't.
It's
I
been
know.
so much. It's
Yeah.
been so much every day. It's been something. Who can keep up with it? You know, and I'm just gonna say clearly, I'm gonna be a little more political than I've ever been before, more invested in keeping up with this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's been exhausting, and I don't think I'm gonna have to watch Rachel Maddow every day.
Yeah, this is Sean. The only one that makes sense out of this is Shonda Rhimes because this is a huge episode of scandal revealing itself right
Oh
before.
my goodness. Yeah.
So,
Well, scandal after scandal after scandal. This
Right.
on and on and on. You know.
yeah.
Oh man. So let's look at this. Ulysses, who is our producer, co-producer, says Raffensperger's office, Georgia, has tallied about 36,000 votes in the last 2 hours. The margin between Trump and Biden has now narrowed to 1% with the latest batch, with Trump clinging to a small lead, which is probably why he's trying to.
Throwing
I,
tantrums.
I give you two words out of that. Fulton County.
Mm,
That's what it's going to come down to in Georgia because they're not finished with Fulton County. That's where they're waiting for the majority of mail-in absentee ballots to come in. Fulton County, and this is the side of Atlanta that has the ordinary people, that has the people that are in Biden's column. So I think I wouldn't be very surprised at all if we were to see a major seismic shift overnight in Fulton County as the counting of the ballots progresses there.
Wow.
Does Fulton County include Atlanta?
Yeah, Fulton County is,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah, I've
wonderful.
been waiting for Atlanta to come through.
Yes, me too. Come through, Atlanta. Come on now.
Come through. Yeah.
All right. Bring it home. Bring it home.
So, since we've all been, I don't know. I mean, we've been through it. This has been a hard 4 years.
Hmm.
This has been a tumultuous time, and I don't care what side of the aisle or whatever. If you are in agreement with the Great Pumpkin, then you've had to fight everybody to say, "I believe it. I believe in the Great Pumpkin. The Great Pumpkin is wonderful." Oh, oh, we're gonna no the Great Pumpkin, right? And obviously, if you don't believe in the Great Pumpkin and you see things realistically, this is like
Yeah. No.
every day, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, what are our hopes and aspirations and expectations going forward? Because like Monifa said, we have to do for ourselves, regardless of who the figurehead is.
Mhm.
We have to do for ourselves. But what are we hoping for? What's the expectation?
Well, Monifa said something very interesting before I came on. She talked about that there was a need for the Constitution to be changed. And I definitely think she's onto something there, and I'll tell you why. If you look at what happened in the Supreme Court right before the election, how they rushed Amy Coney Barrett through confirmation almost before Ruth Bader Ginsburg's body was cold.
Right.
There's a reason they did that, to get that 6-3 conservative supermajority. And the reason they did that is that a lot of the rights that we find important to us, abortion, gay marriage, the decriminalization of homosexuality, Obamacare, all of these rights that we take for granted every day, the only thing that guarantees them to us is case law. In other words, somewhere a judge or a court has made a ruling based on an interpretation of the Constitution that says we have the right to have an abortion, or that same-sex couples have the right to marry, and so on. Changing the Constitution puts those rights into black letter law. It's much, much harder to reverse or change, because in order to change an amendment, you have to have a constitutional convention and create another amendment. A good example of that is the 19th Amendment, prohibition. It was repealed by a later amendment. So changing the Constitution tends to be more far-reaching. It tends to be more permanent. It's not as ephemeral as case law tends to be. I can see Roe v. Wade going away. I can see Obergefell v. Hodges going away. In fact, I can even see the Supreme Court doing away with Lawrence v. Texas and making us all sex offenders again if we're LGBTQ people. So this is why case law is not always an effective remedy for the kind of protections we need for our rights as American people.
And you even mentioned black folk by and large.
Exactly. So I also am like I've come to change. I would like to change my status from Democrat to constitutionalist. There is a new party. I saw it on some ballot somewhere. Constitutionalist, because I think that more so than any particular party, what could make this country great again, or not again, but what could yeah, right. What could make what could make this country great is a strong constitution and a party that really sticks to that constitution and amending those articles that are not favorable to liberty, life, and the pursuit of happiness.
Let me just give you a caveat there. Provided we have leadership that does not ignore it.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah.
and
Ignore it.
gets away with it.
Right. Ignore it, tears it up. And the other thing is, I think that we should, as a one of the I can't think of the word, not recommendations, but qualifications to become president, you should be able to recite the Constitution, or at least pass pass an exam, a like an exam on, or at least even the same exam that somebody has to take to become an American citizen.
We're clear that the Great Pumpkin would not have been in that seat.
He would not have been in
Exactly.
office. No.
Exactly. So, I mean, like with some constitutional law questions, you should have to, because how can you promise, swear to abide and uphold
Right.
something that you don't even understand?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't believe in it. You don't know about it, and when you hear pieces of it, you're like, get that out of here.
Mhm.
Well, this is somebody that went into office never intending to do any of those things. That was not his intention from day one.
Right.
He wanted to get there. That was his main objective. Put me in that house and turn me loose. And that's what happened.
And turn
Turn me loose.
You right about that. That's what they did too. And he went straight to the golf course and charged us for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
So, yeah, he had no intentions of any of that. And I agree with you totally about having to prove or take an exam. At least say I read it.
Right.
My grandson is 6 years old, and for Christmas last year, he got a copy of the Constitution from me.
All right.
I mean, I just feel that, well, as we all do, I think that the last 3.5, 4 years have just been unmerciful to the entire country.
Right.
We've all suffered so much, no matter what side of the fence you're on, even the people who follow him. I feel bad for them. I can't help it. I get angry sometimes, but I do find myself feeling sorry for them, that they could have been so fooled by this man, so drawn in by that. What was that musical? The Music Man. Who came to this small little town and told people he was going to teach their kids to play instruments. They couldn't play nothing. And they all believed him. So, here we have that same type of rhetoric coming from the president of this country, making us the laughing stock all over the world, embarrassing us every day. Can't put a sentence together.
No, not at all.
Hates everything and everybody.
Yeah.
What do we need that for?
Put gas in your car to run a bus off the road with your rage.
Yes. Oh.
Like, is that what we really do in broad daylight? And that's what we
Very
think we
fine,
can do.
very fine people. They're patriots. Okay.
At any other time, that would be considered illegal and an act of aggression and or assault.
That's attempted murder.
Yes.
They should have been arrested.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what's going on with that, because the FBI was called in on that, and
Haven't heard anything about it since.
No. We're seeing all kinds of video where people are showing up and, you can't even display either your flag or whatever you're displaying, Black Lives Matter. That seems to be the trigger for people to just, they just roll up and attack you for it.
Did anybody see Rick Santorum today on CNN? They were talking about how major cities are boarding up stores and all this other stuff. And he said, well, they're doing, and please, I'm not quoting him. I just want you to give you a basic idea. Well, you know why they're doing it. It's not for the Trump followers. Okay, biatch. So who are they doing it for? Okay, what are you trying to say? Come out and say what you're trying to say. So does that mean? I'm sorry.
Oh, that was fun.
That was on time.
I'm like, okay, so exactly what is it that you're trying to say, Mr. Santorum? I mean, no matter what point was brought up by any of the people on the newscast, he was the counterpoint on everything. And And finally, they kind of just got away from him because they said this is going to be really bad if we don't shut him up. Is what
Mm.
it boiled down to. But his intent was so obvious, and I'm sitting there and I thought, send a tweet to CNN right now to get him off the air because this could get really, really ugly.
Right. Right.
I mean, and they did call him on it, and of course he had nothing to say. But I was furious.
Yeah. 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 And that's what people want you to believe. But we've never been one for destruction like that. It's just not. It's not our bag. We have bigger fish to fry. We're not even
Exactly. That's not what we're here for.
No. And you'd love to be able to reduce it to violence and hate groups. And I'm like, but you acknowledge every hate group and put it out there, but the KKK.
Yeah,
You acknowledge everyone, but you refuse to acknowledge those. You refuse to. America, it has consistently refused to acknowledge its own homegrown terrorists.
yeah. And that too was finally brought up by the main anchor person. I can't remember which one it was. I just watched news all day, flipping back and forth.
Mhm.
But he did say, "Are you trying to say that the people in the pickup trucks with the Trump flags, we don't have to worry about them?" He finally said that to Rick Santorum, and I was very happy, that he brought that up. And he
And
says,
what was his response?
"Huh?"
And what was his
He
response?
says, "Well, you don't see in New York City, you're not going to see that in New York City." And he says, "Excuse me, yeah, in New York City and everywhere else, you see those people riding around in those pickup trucks, threatening other people with their guns in it, and especially in Michigan. I mean, if you take a gun to City Hall,
Yeah, that's crazy.
hello."
But how about in New York City, you can roll right through Flatbush at the 70th precinct and listen to cops intimidate folks right on the corner of their own neighborhoods talking about Trump 2020 over the loudspeaker. And yes,
Oh,
he got suspended without pay. But the reality is you still have it. This is New York City where
yeah,
where Biden won, but majority Democrat. You still have, assholes are gonna be assholes. Period.
right.
All
It doesn't matter where.
brutality. Yeah, all those cases with brutality. New York has got its bloody hands with it too. At the end of the day, from Abner Louima to Sean Bell to you name it, Eric Garner, come on.
Yeah.
All that happened right here in New York City. So yeah, we have the same
Same as everywhere else.
yes, the same police officers that need to be retrained and fired and some jailed.
Mhm.
There are different levels. Like if you stood around and watched something happen, there should be 3 levels, in my opinion, of what happens as a reprimand: fired, imprisoned, or reprimanded and retrained. But
Yeah.
the reprimand, you should not be elevated to the next level. You should not be a sergeant if you had a whole bunch of, like, come on. How it's far too often that we have police officers with severe records. Now you're a captain.
Yeah, if you're a police officer and your file is 6 inches thick with complaints, something's wrong if you're getting promoted.
Right,
You're not supposed to be there.
right, right. And I'm sorry, I said this before and I'll say it again. If you're a police officer and you are with somebody, a dirty cop, that makes you just as dirty. Whether
If you
you
keep quiet, if you don't say nothing, you're just as bad.
yeah,
Part.
because
And that's the same thing with people who follow this whole Trump thing. If you don't come out against all those horrible things that were being said and the horrible things that were being done, for instance, the football players, and the Klansmen. The Klansmen were very fine people, but the football players were sons of bitches.
Right.
I'm one of them bitches. Okay. So to me, he might as well have slapped me in the face. I have a son. I have a black son. Don't you dare.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's what we've had 4 years of that. And if you follow that and then try to be my friend and tell me, I'm not, I don't have a racist bone in my, well, yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Because if you follow that bullshit,
Right? A couple of them, a couple of racist bones.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
I'm sorry, I'm looking all around, and y'all are probably like, "What is she doing?" I'm. They call me Tammy Too Much, Miss Clifford, on the
Tell me too much.
Tammy Too Much, because I'm always doing too much. I'm the resident technician, DJ, engineer, getting people on, moving around. So I'm just a little busy, but that's a blessing that I'm able to do too much sometimes, right?
It's a blessing.
And I'm sure my pastor agrees because he's nodding his head.
Jay Strong,
How you
James
doing?
Strong.
You know, right?
Yes.
Everyone, this is the Reverend, the Elder Kevin E. Taylor,
Yes.
who I always describe him, well, not just describe him, but one of the things that I mention when speaking about him is his use of language. He is
Okay.
a wordsmith.
Call from unavailable.
So I don't know who's unavailable, but all of us are here right now. And I would like to ask the pastor, since he's just joined
If
us.
I could, hey Nathan, James, I love you. Hi, Therese. Therese is my crush. I don't remember that's my crush right there.
I love you. Hi.
And Linda Clifford, I haven't done drag much in my life, but I did it once to do Runaway Love.
Uh-oh. I love it. And take that dog with you.
If they could see me now, those dusty friends of mine.
Okay.
Oh my God! Wait,
So I had to do my introductions. And Jay Strong, you know I love you, Strong. You know
yes,
that.
of
I'll do
course.
anything
But
for you.
before you speak, I just want to say to the people who are on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, I see you all watching. Um, and let me just say really briefly that I can't really see you. But go to YouTube, WJBR Internet Radio, if you want to watch us more clearly, and if you want to chime in and have um your comments read. We can't see your comments. And I won't see them until later. So thank you for watching, but please go to YouTube, WJBR Internet Radio, and if you refuse to switch from Facebook to YouTube, then go to our Facebook page, In the Basement with Javon and Therese. Back to you, Kevin
Yeah.
Taylor.
So I've been hearing all the talk, like not just that you all have been having, but all day. And the thing I just want to pour into people while we're still watching this paint dry of an election is that what COVID-19 came along to do, I believe, is to slow the world down. We are acting like the results of this election are supposed to be seen, like who gets the next rose or who's the next American Idol. These are votes. These are lives. And I'll be God blessed if the orange tangerine gets it now because he wants it now. Miss Earlene went all the way to the post office and it was closed. And so she went to the Board of Records to drop her vote off and it will be counted.
Hello.
He ain't going nowhere till June 20th and January 20th. And he is in fact going away. So let's be patient and breathe through the process. Period. Breathe through the process. There are hundreds of thousands, named millions of votes to be counted. Because Bernie Sanders was on with Jimmy Fallon not very long ago, and he predicted this to the state. He was like, he said, because Democrats tend to, by and large, vote by mail-in vote, and Republicans tend to show up on the day of. And that's why this was all being played out. Spoke the ones on the, count the votes on the day, and then if I don't like it, we can go right to the court. Forget all the other parts, like counting actual votes and actual processing, and the fact that Pennsylvania doesn't even begin to count their votes till the next day. Forget that. I want to be able to make chess moves and get directly to the people I put in place to say, because he's been setting this up for months. If I don't win, it's going to be a problem.
Yep.
We saw it happening.
Yep.
He was trying to tell us, the people whose votes have to be counted don't count.
Please. Oh,
Yeah.
This
And
is
I
this
truly
is not
believe,
jelly beans in a jar, Orange Man. This is the election.
Mhm,
I
thank you.
You
truly
don't get to
believe
do
he was
that. You don't.
trying to start some type of war, some type of
You know
horrible.
which kind of war he's trying to
Oh,
start, Ms.
absolutely.
Cook. It's a race war with
Yes.
white folk with flags and guns, blocking people in who have Black Lives Matter on their cars, who are sending hateful letters to neighbors who have Black Lives signs saying, if you don't like it, move.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes. Exactly.
The racists have hatched like weeds in a garden.
Yes. 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 What have you been doing to get through this?
Well, I'm blessed to be able to serve the city of Newark, helping the homeless, remembering people have real stuff that they're going through, and being reminded that, and reminding people that the process is a process. It takes time to do the thing. So we've been talking about the election since 2018, and making sure people are registered, which is how we had 100 million votes cast before election day. Just remembering, right? Because sometimes we do all the work and then we forget because we still want a quick result. I am a grown Black man who can make my mama's pound cake by scratch. So I know how long it takes to put all the ingredients in. I remember how much my shoulder ached turning and switching arms. And then what I didn't expect after all that work was to throw it in a microwave, put it in the oven, close the door, mind your business, sit your happy behind down, as Mom would say, and work on the rest of the stuff you're supposed to be working on. So that's it. I cast my vote. I got my tabulation back weeks ago. So it's about this kind of go ahead to bed at 11 o'clock, not expecting, yay, we get instant results.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, Therese, I've been rewatching Scandal. And so many of the pieces in that show are playing out now. So if Hollis Doyle is Donald Trump, and that loud, ignorant, billionaire who thinks I'm supposed to be able to buy my way in. Donald Trump don't even like the people he's talking to. He ain't never met them until he ran for president. He don't like those people.
Right.
How many of them
Talking
were
about
in
God,
his
man.
clubs? How many
He
of
ain't
those
never
people-
said God without damn it behind it.
I'm sorry, Miss Clifford. What did you say, dear?
How many of those people, his followers, does he invite to his clubs?
None.
None. He
And
don't want
wouldn't-
to have nothing to do with those people.
Wouldn't. And as soon as he goes back to being the imprisoned regular civilian, he's gonna walk right by them the same way he walked by them the first time.
Right.
After
Right.
he's out of jail.
Except he's gonna have an
Yeah.
ankle bracelet.
I heard that, Therese.
So I'm wondering, I'm curious about the people who he left out in the cold, those that he bussed to his rallies, and then he left them out there. We're not hearing anything from these people.
And they're not going to say anything. I mean,
2
I'm trying.
miles away.
Okay, I want to say this out loud before I forget it. I have been saying to people who have asked me, like, Pastor, why are white people voting for Donald Trump? I said, because white people needed a white savior too. And they thought all of that money and privilege and seeing him on The Apprentice and his name's on building, they think it means something, and they think it's going to change the way they get to show up in the world. Because the truth is, the whole intention behind stealing brown and black folk from Africa was that you could recognize the nigga. You know what I mean? Because I want to be able to change my clothes, and you don't know I'm Irish. You don't know I came from poverty. If I can dress the part, I can be the part. And there are still people who think that Donald Trump is somehow going to put them in $1,000 suit and they can be the part, but you can tell black from miles away. It's the symptom in racist America that we've never talked about, the actual conflict with skin color around the world. I want to be able to point out the lesser than before I ever have to engage them. I don't even want to know.
It goes back to what I was talking about with Therese and Monifa earlier about why is it that they won't uplift people of color who do amazing things, who can contribute amazing things, who have contributed amazing things to the society, thereby making the society great. But they would rather.
They would rather steal it from you and take
Child, he
credit
killed
for it.
Herman Cain came out to one of his rallies. He killed him, and he ain't said his name yet.
Yes. Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Still.
And he won't.
And he won't.
He never said the man's name. Like, you know how most politicians will come out and express at least some what is it they say? Our thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and
Neither
prayers.
thought nor
He
prayer.
can't think and he don't pray.
Thoughts and prayers.
No, you can't pray when you that far from the Lord.
He can't think and he don't pray. So he can't offer thoughts
hold
and
the
prayers.
Bible upside down for a photo shoot. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. This it.
Yeah.
He beat people up to get to the church
Right.
to take the fake picture.
Right.
How Christian of him.
Right.
How very Christian.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So Pastor, I had asked earlier, what are the hopes and expectations going forward? So obviously, let's just say I'm asking that question with the idea that Biden and Harris are the next president and VP. What would be your thoughts and expectations?
One, that we remember all the stuff we said a year ago about third party, about getting more people involved in politics, about doing actual, I think we're going to have to institute government classes back into our communities, like almost like the Black Panther food program. It's like we got to remind people, like, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Pastor Kevin Taylor got brothers to the poll, to the polls in the last several weeks, or to send back their ballots by showing them that recreational marijuana was on the ballot. I was like, do you not? There are 12 candidates and 3 referendum, and one of them is reefer. Oh, wait, what? I was like, so let's have we got to have the whole ballot conversation, and we have to keep having it, because it's almost a trick of the enemy to make us think that every first Tuesday in November every 4 years is just about the president, when there are almost always a dozen other offices on the ballot. The other is to remind us that we are community. Like, there's a brother in New York who was the first Black gay a congressman or senator in history, right? And it's like, just don't forget that we got, that when we're always struggling with this stuff, that masterful, huge things are happening in this country that we don't talk enough about. Like the woman who denied the couple the right to marry was defeated by one of them for her seat. The trans woman who was thrown out of the office was defeated the man who wouldn't let her into the office. We need to be telling these stories because they will empower us again and again and again. And it will turn this narrative around. What would drive Trump crazy, what would drive politics crazy, is if we were doing this kinds of conversations. And there was an episode of Scandal when the president was trying to talk about something while the vice president was with it, and they kept saying, "Don't you dare split the screen on him. He's the president. He gets the full thing." And then the other thing took over all of the screens. I just want us to remember we have the power to take over all the screens. We got Nathan James, whose rights is behind all. We need to be sharing these articles. We need to be sharing your show every week. We need to be reminding ourselves that we have social media and we have access to all the media we need, instead of just always, I hate it when people are quick to say, this is happening and nobody's talking about it. I'm like, baby, that's in the middle of Arkansas. We don't live in the middle of Arkansas. You're the reporter from the middle of Arkansas. Don't beat us up about not talking about it. Inform us that we should be talking about it.
Right.
Right? It's this recalibration, this reboot of our minds that needs to stop treating news and access like a popular thing that we should all know about, and reminding each other that we get to be correspondents who tell each other about it, right?
Yes.
And my third is that the Biden and Harris go in, and in 2024 he doesn't run again. She runs for president with Cory Booker. Boom.
Boom. Boom. Shakalaka. Yeah.
Let me just interject this, because Pastor Taylor just made a very important point about the availability of the media. Now, Trump has spent the last 4 years characterizing us in the media as the enemy of the people. And he does that for a very specific purpose. He wants to be the sole fountain of information that people listen and follow. And what Trump is trying to diminish, or what he was trying to diminish as president, is the importance of what we call the fourth estate. That the press is a cornerstone of a functioning democracy. Well, we haven't had a functioning democracy in the last 4 years. Now that we are returning to that,
Yes,
I think, as Pastor Kevin said very astutely, it is time for the American people to rediscover the value of their news agencies, of their media sources, of their public voices to which they can add their own.
Correct.
Bravo.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Miss Clifford, you mentioned feeling sorry for, those who follow the Great Pumpkin. And I'm just wondering, because those people are going to need healing.
Oh, for sure. They are. Yeah.
So what do you think would be the best way for us to approach them? You have fans from every walk of life.
Yeah.
Every age, every ethnicity, and some of your fans, although you are very clear in social media where you stand, but some of your fans are closet pumpkin.
Bigots.
Okay, big. Yeah.
Thank you. Closet
Just
bigot.
saying, it is what it is.
So how do you think? What do you think is the best way to go forward? Dealing with because they're going to need healing.
They are going to need healing, and I think the first thing we have to do is not act like him.
And them.
Not be boastful because he didn't win. Not throw it in his face or in their face, but take the higher ground. Michelle Obama said, "Hey, come on, when they go low, where are we going?
We
going hard in this thing, so I'm gonna need some help.
I know. Listen, Therese, girl, I need help too in that department.
So Therese, how about this? Sometimes you'll go higher, it just looks like this. Like, look, I could cut you out, but praise the Lord. Yeah. I could come over there and knock your teeth loose.
But praise the Lord.
Sometimes it's just as simple as sipping your tea. That could be more shaky than anything else.
Yes, I totally agree. You don't always have to say something, but you have to find a way to show them that we're willing to work with them, teach them, because they need help. I think they do need help. They've been fed lie after lie after lie, and unfortunately, they believed so much of that stuff that came out, whether it was from the newscasts that they watch, whether it was from the Great Pumpkin himself or his little minions. They were fed all that stuff for 4 years, and they believe it.
And they still do, Miss Clifford. The problem is that 55% of white women voted for him this time when 53 did last, which means an increase.
See,
listen, I know.
More white women voted this time than last because, again, white folk needed a white savior too. And the second they got somebody talking loud, they started getting up in people's faces.
Right.
And we don't just have a corona pandemic, we have a Karen pandemic too.
Ooh. Oh, honey, them Karens are everywhere. And I think the fact that any woman would vote for him in the first place, I was like, what? What you said is so true. But when they started telling us about this on the news and saying, 54% of white women or women in the suburbs are voting for him, I was like, no, they're not. That's a lie. They're telling me a lie. How could a woman in her right mind or a woman with a brain vote for that man after everything that was laid out even before he got into office? Everything he said on tape, it's right there for you to see. And you vote for him? I have children. I have a daughter. Don't you have kids? You got sisters, your mother. You don't care about that? That man has no morals. no ethics, no compassion, none of the above. And you put him in office to lead an entire country of people, a country that was already in trouble.
Hmm.
Okay, and just made it worse. And then
Yeah.
when Miss Corona came around, and he decided he was going to ignore it and not tell nobody. So now you got 200 and what is it, 62,000 people dead.
Something. Yep. Something.
Not
Your aunts and uncles, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, they're dead. They're gone. They can't vote.
Mm. Mm.
They can't fix this.
Mm-hmm. We should add those people on to the ballot for Biden just because in the name.
Yes.
Oh, how about that? How about
Yeah.
that?
I'm sorry, my hair falling down. I got so mad.
Shake it loose.
That's it. Unloose it. Unloose it. That's it. Miss Clifford, do it. If your friends can see you now. That's right.
Man,
I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I don't mean to preach, but I get mad. I get upset about the orange pumpkin. He don't turn me into a different person.
And you know, and you're right, Ms. Clifford, because you have to go all the way back to the man who dared to put a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the deaths of 5 young boys in '89. This is the birther man. This is the bastard of a man who has said some egregious things, and yet in this country, celebrity has made people go, but his name's on the his big name in gold letters. That man can't step back into New York because the day he stepped down in New York, he's going to get arrested.
Hello. I hope they arrest him and drag his ass.
That's why he's starting to call Florida home, because he's going to lose and go down to Florida to avoid prosecution.
Yeah.
And we should extradite and in the name of snitching to the 12th degree. If I ever see him on soil as a civilian, I'm pointing. I'm calling the police.
But that's why Florida's always been in such trouble. He can go down to Florida. They're not gonna expedite. He gonna sit right there on in Mar-a-Lago and count the money he pimped this country. It's going to be a decade as we find out all the ways he poured this country from inside the house.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, but some of it is just so blatant. I mean, he's been doing stuff blatantly ever since he's been in office. It's been one thing after. I have never been so politically charged in my entire life. I think maybe in the 7th grade, I took a class I had to take and started learning about politics and something government. And then once in college, I took a course, constitutional law, which became interesting once I got past all the platitudes and the words, the way they use language in that, in the Constitution and legal speak. And then I was like, what? Why don't they just say that?
Which can be translated. They do that to keep people out.
That's right.
Come on.
And you know what? That's that's one of the books from college that I actually kept, because I knew I was going to need to know something about the Constitution at some point, and that day may be coming for me. But I'm just saying. So, Rez, it seems like you're kind of bursting at the seams. There's something you want to say.
No, I'm just taking a page out of my beloved pastor and just saying that, just taking the deep proverbial breath and just waiting it out and trying to move move as I do, and stay in the moment, because I've been this whole idea has made me angry, anxious, and not very forgiving. So I just have to wait it out, because either way we're gonna be okay. And your worst case scenario is not what I'm praying for, but I'm also, even whoever steps into the office at this point has to have an agenda for the people. We got to do something about this coronavirus situation. We have so many other things on the table right now that need addressing, from bow to stern. So I'm just trying to remain resilient and patient. And if I ever, like I said, and if I ever see him outside that White House, I'm snitching.
Well, see, you're good. You just gonna snitch. I would punch him.
Well, if I can get that close, because we're paying for. See, you started me up again, because we're paying for the entire family security detail out of our tax money,
and we will in perpetuity, because he will all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's got to go to jail. He's got to go to jail. I
Like,
think that's the will of the people.
like when can you go to hire your entire family, from daughter to son-in-law
I want
to
all of them
children,
to go to jail.
all of them,
All
especially
of
I don't think Junior
gritty down
doesn't have an official title, and neither does Eric.
They
Yeah,
both
but
have
All of them are special advisors. None of them have real titles.
yeah, but they floating
Well,
around
yeah,
the White House on our dime, causing our security detail. We
Then,
pay for
then,
that.
then
Ivanka and her husband Jared Kushner.
yeah,
He should definitely go to jail.
yeah,
And that comment he made the other day
he should be
about,
slapped for that.
huh?
He should be slapped for that.
Thank you.
Hard.
He can't
Hard.
want.
I want Mrs. Obama's mother to slap him real hard. I want Mother Robinson to slap the taste out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I just know that, I was on team, and just so that you know, Auntie Melba Moore is watching, and she says hi to you, Miss Clifford. Let me see. Oh, she also echoed, "They go low, we go
Oh,
high,"
okay.
and she's laughing at you, Rezzy, saying Terez is snitching.
Yes.
There he go.
Hi, Juanita. Let me just give a couple of shout outs. Walt,
Hi, Walt.
Smack Vondelier, Elsiva.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the name. Len Palyak. Okay. Emily Bell. And yeah, these are, like I said, you got to be on Facebook. I mean, if you're on Facebook on In the Basement with Javon and Terez page, then I can better see your comments. And if you're on YouTube, and you comment, then we can see you there. Yeah. So Nathan, you have to,
Any updates?
what's gonna happen here? Nathan?
Did he freeze? Oh,
What's
there you
going to
go.
happen next?
Yeah, what's gonna happen?
Well, in President Biden, Kamala Harris administration, I think what we're going to see is this is going to be a transitional administration. It's going to be the kind of thing where you're going to see, first of all, getting COVID-19 under control. That's priority number one.
Number one.
Undoing the damage that Trump has wrought, which is going to take more than 4 years, but we have to make a start. And then I think the most important thing for Biden and Kamala is we have to start healing the deep divisions within the American people. I was absolutely shocked that this election turned out to be as close as it is. It exposed something dark and ugly and absolutely disgusting about the scars that still exist within the American soul. And if we are to survive as a political entity, President Biden will have to show decisive leadership, lead by example, and say, we have to come together again and be the American people we should be, not the American people that Trump has exposed us to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All he did was turn on the lights. He didn't create the roaches.
Say that again.
All he did was turn on the lights. He did not create the roaches.
There you go.
It's true. This is true. He said, come out wherever you are. And they were
they came out. What you gonna do? If it's so many of us, we take over. Nathan's point is so disturbingly on point that this is the America where we live. That we, this Karen crisis has showed us that that white people are still mad that we live in their neighborhoods, that we're dating their daughters, that we can drive certain cars, it's the upset of it, that we can go to certain schools. That stuff it's never been healed. We just wanted to put icing on it, thinking, but we're American. There's still people mad, because I looked in that house. I couldn't afford it, but I went into the open house. How can you afford it? That woman who told the man when he put Black Lives Matter when he spray painted it on his curb. She said, how dare you do that? I know the owner of that house. And it was him. She didn't know the owner of the house. It was him. She
Yeah.
had seen the house. She had dreamt about the house. She saw who she wanted to be the owner and didn't think it could be him.
See,
Yeah.
see, yeah.
You know,
The
I
woman,
spoke to
you know,
some-
the Cooper woman, I'm sorry.
that's
The
okay.
Cooper woman who called the police saying that this man was threatening her and her dog while she's choking the dog.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just ingrained.
I spoke to someone earlier today who asked me about the election and everything that was going on, and I agree certainly with Nathan. That's one of the points I brought up. I was so disheartened by how close these numbers were. It made me cry because I would pray at night that my children and my grandchildren would never have to suffer some of the indignities that our people have gone through. I just thought, this is going to stop. People are not going to always think this way. If the younger generation is going to come along and things are going to change. No, they're still teaching that hate. And for what? What all it does is eat you up inside. Why to hate somebody simply because of the color of their skin? And I just, it makes me cry. It makes me so sad that people are still having to deal with that every day. And it's I don't even know what to say about it anymore. I'm old, and I've just I've dealt with some crazy stuff in my life, and I'm sure all of you have had issues as well. But this brought out so much of it. It just it sort of calmed down where it was covered up for so long that you started to feel maybe a little comfortable.
Too
But
comfortable.
You can't feel comfortable because it's there. It's still there.
Right.
It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, that, one of the more popular sayings amongst Black people over the past maybe 5 years or so is about staying woke. Right? Everybody been woke. Past 5, not even 5 years, no, before that,
No.
10 years, maybe 10, 15 years. Everybody's been talking about woke. Time has flown so quickly that I didn't even realize how much time is going by. But way before the Great Pumpkin came through, people were talking about being woke.
Right.
If you ain't really woke now, you woke now.
You in a coma.
Then you in a coma, because there are some and it just kills me. There's some brothers I've been seeing, not too many sisters, maybe one or two, that just don't get it. And
But
they're so woke that they walk the walls. You ever wake up and jump up out of the bed and you get dizzy? You make yourself a little, because you jump up out of that sleep and you a little, and they're in that constant state. They're so woke.
Yeah.
You ever been so smart that you outsmart yourself?
Oh my God.
That's where these brothers are, man. Yo, if you are a Black man and your politics are the same as the KKK, think about that. That's all I got to say.
So I'm gonna say it from this seat of male privilege, understanding what that is that. So let's get clear about the difference between woke and awake, right? Because a whole lot of brothers who say they woke. Common said this once on Deaf Poetry Jam, Deaf Poetry Slam, whatever, about brothers who talk all this pro-Black stuff here and go bang white women in Europe. This is about Black men who want to appropriate white women, who want access to white money and white places, and still want to be able to come home and be down. Brothers, there are some Black cards being revoked We're gonna roll some records into the street. If you want to be over there, stay over there. We will, in the official race draft, send you over there. Don't come back over here when your Bentley don't get you from a beating because you shouldn't be in that neighborhood. Don't come back over here because the potato salad has raisins over there. Don't come back over here because the chicken is not having any flavor. You want to go over there? Stay over there, because I'm not just woke, I'm awake, and I would die for my Black women any day before any bullet. And because you got your issues thinking Kim Kardashian ass is gonna make you feel blacker and better, make your penis feel bigger, is on you. Go spend your white reparations and leave your soul over there too, because this is what it means to ask us, what profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? All these platinum plans and access to money. I don't want to be in a room to have access to money when what I'm getting money for is the souls of my people.
Ooh. Boom.
Yeah.
So I'm woke and awake.
See.
There it is.
And I just want to give a little levity. Some folks that, were mad at little Worm for going and taking pictures with Donald Trump. But he didn't even read the contract Birdman gave him. So we expected him to read that platinum plan. He's a lie. He's a lie. Come on now.
Right. And people don't know that Kanye got some COVID money, like $2 million. Like, oh, my staff and I, we hard to. This is a capitalist culture, and when we realize that, somebody would kill their grandmother to get some access to money, they would kill their children, their wives. If we would realize that all the stuff we see in these movies and in these series is just a crafted commentary on who we really are, we would stop being so surprised. The only surprise I have now, and I'm gonna stay here right now, is again, Nathan, on how close this race is, and that is making me look at people differently, which means I have to listen to them differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I heard you. And we have to look at the country as a whole, because New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delaware, Maryland, DC, all very safe. It's all very blue. In some areas, landslides. It's fine. Just in the mindfulness of that Midwest mentality, and the mindfulness that Miami went blue, but the rest of Florida did not. We just have to really begin to look at the culture and the country for what it is, because there are people who look in the urban environments and look at us like they're from the outside. They don't understand that dance. I don't understand that food. I don't understand that culture. Y'all stay over there, we'll stay over here. But America is a whole lot of country and surrounded by urbanocracy. You know what I mean? And so it's LA, Seattle, Portland, Chicago, Philly, Detroit. If you look in those spaces, they're very blue. They're very concentrated in blue. And this is the discomfort of the conversation of people who have to deal with what it means that I'm an old man from layers of racism, but my grandbaby is brown with curly hair, and I don't know how to unpack that. The white woman who believes that her damsel in distress performance is going to get her access to everything that she dreamt about as a fairy princess, as if some Black man's body has to be under her foot because she told a lie about what he did to her in order to make, in order to make Beauregard stand up as my hero and rescue me. We have to remember that they watch these same movies too. We got. If I fan and flutter, he'll rescue me. That Black man, that ruffian, he scared me. I have you. Oh, thank you. I mean, we know all of this stuff. We just keep forgetting. Like government classes, we're forgetting. This script is just playing out the way it's always played out. And at the end of the day, we're going to have to do the real work to make sure we're clear about who is and who ain't. Right? And at the end of the day, one of those conversations, I'm sorry, just by statistical data, white women, we about to check y'all in ways that don't make any sense over the next 2 years, because in 2 years, we have another election. There's going to be some real reckoning. We keep talking about white men. White women are about to have a reckoning conversation. And Black men, that means a number of you are going to get caught up in it as well, because you would destroy the souls of your people for a white woman thinking to get you white access. But don't be surprised if her daddy don't know about you and she screams rape when he finds her on top of. Okay.
We got it.
Mhm.
I
I
think
just
we
want us
got
to be clear about these same stories play over again and again and again and again. Again, that white woman, who short. What's disturbing? Amy Cooper, Christian Cooper. That those two people in that ugly moment in Central Park, that they shared the same name, right?
Right.
That she
Right.
literally was the white damsel in the house. The big
Yes.
Negro's trying to hurt me. He's like, wait a minute, I'm the one following the law here. And if he didn't have a camera going, she would have gotten him killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
very threatened.
Because it
I'm
was
feeling
it was her intention.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's the scary part because, you know, do you know how many things weren't on camera? Like, until we got these camera phones, the rest, man, the only thing different between the 60s and now, or the 50s and now, is the fact that we have access to be able to broadcast it from here to Japan in 3 seconds in the back of our pocket. But can you imagine how many other situations, if that alone, that thought alone just scares me, to think that the only reason you said something, Rev, that the only reason why he was even not, like dismantled by the authorities is because he had it on his cell phone to prove that this woman was outrageous. And I don't think the laws that govern those false reports are enough, because it's too many people you start an incident, you don't mind your business, you start an incident, and then you call the police and you say you were attacked. You give language that would, that in itself should be a felony, a prosecutable felony once you find out that this was all made up. Like,
I thought that there was some type
Yeah,
of
there is a
law.
law.
It is a law.
there is, but it's not strong
Filing a
enough.
false police report or whatever.
False
Strong
reporting.
enough. Not strong enough. Not strong enough.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of work that needs to be done with this country.
Yes.
I mean, we are we live in the belly. One clear takeaway, and I think we all agree, is that looking at the map and just the fact that there's just so much red after 4 years of this.
Mhm.
I think we're all a little bit, even though none of us are naive children. We've all lived long enough to know something, but I think that it's kind of shocking to know that this is still okay with so many people.
But look at the map. It literally goes like this blue, like
Right.
that. And then the heart of the country
Right.
is bright red.
So there's a lot of work that needs to happen.
Or a lot of truth that needs to be told, because some of those people
Right.
are who they are, and we just have to make a particular peace with that. We have to make a particular peace with the fact that, come on, Jay Strong, we have not in the South unpacked the conversation of the Confederate statues not just being in tribute to people who were traitors to the country. They were also erected as virtual scarecrows for Negroes.
Yes.
It was say, you're not welcome here. Be very clear to know your place here. Be very clear to know your place here.
And that flag flying over the Capitol, and I mean, like, that should have been outlawed years ago. There should be there should be one little torn up, bullet hole, half burnt Confederate flag in some dusty
In a
museum
somewhere.
Yeah, saying this is what happened.
What did Bree do with her flag that she snatched down? My hero. What did Bree do with the flag she snatched down?
I don't know. Probably burned it.
Yeah, that need to be the one.
But there should be clearly no honor in being a traitor to the nation.
Unless you're white.
Yeah, but that needs to be there just needs to that needs to stop.
But I mean, Jay Strong, listen, we've got Lindsey Graham on television shows talking about Trump like a dog. And now he is his close, like a dog during the campaign.
But then once he's gone, now he's going to be like, well, I can work with Biden. Lindsey Graham is just, whatever.
A dirty dog.
He just, how you want me to lay? This way or that way?
Whichever
up
way
or
the
down,
blows.
top or bottom, it don't matter. Just do.
Otherwise, we'll be talking about him. Like otherwise, like some of this is just attention-seeking rhetoric from older, aging, demented men.
White men.
So we're about at the point to wrap it up, but I want to thank everybody for coming out. We might have to do this again on Saturday. I,
Oof, yeah.
You know, Miss Clifford, are you available Saturday? Can
Well, possibly. That could happen. You know.
Because then we'll know we should have a result by then.
Yes.
And it would be nice to, be able to reflect in a different way. We'll be in a different space because we're still in the midst of it. And I think that we should have a part 2 if that's all right.
It's all right by me.
Pastor, are you with it? Are you available?
I am absolutely in. I will make myself available for this conversation. I will. And
well,
you know what? If we could, if we will, I will commit to this ongoingly, because I think what we just asked how we move forward is that we have to keep having this conversation. We have to keep talking about stuff in our local district, stuff towards our community. There is some unpacking to Ice Cube's contract that really has some rich stuff in it that we keep to hold people accountable.
Educating.
It's just an ongoing conversation.
Yeah. Is that live? Is that posted anywhere that
yes.
folks can read? Okay.
Yeah, the contract for Black America is 22 pages. I downloaded it.
Okay. Send that to me. I want to read it.
Okay, I will do.
Please.
Send it to both of us so we can all talk. Well,
let's have to read it too now.
Send it so we can unpack it. We could start. I mean, it's 22 pages. We could start unpacking it because there's a lot of personality and a lot of opinions on this panel here.
Just a few.
But we might want to start unpacking it. Nathan, if you're available, obviously you are more than welcome to join us. I don't know how we lost Stanley Bennett Clay. I promise you, he was the first one in the green room, in the backstage, sitting there waiting to come on. And me and him, we chatted, and I don't know if he thought that was it, but
oh my goodness.
I have to get my man stand back. So
you talk about opinions.
Yes. So I think for this coming Saturday, unless something shifts, maybe we'll just plan that we'll meet again.
Okay.
That's noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure what time that is for you, Miss Clifford.
That's 11. I'm just an hour.
11 for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, groovy. And for all of you that are watching and listening, thank you so much for keeping things interesting. And please tell somebody. Auntie Melba, we love you.
Melba.
We love you. And Pastor, this is not by any means at all a religious show. And we respect everybody's right to believe whatsoever, and whosoever they believe in and whatever. But right now, me as a Christian would like for you to give us a prayer in closing.
Amen. Gracious and eternal Lord God, we come before you right now to say thank you. Thank you for the capacity to have these conversations. Thank you that freedom rings in the midst of this. In spite of who's in the White House, we know who's in the upper room. And so we thank you for grace and mercy, for peace and power and patience to remind us in the midst of this pandemic, all of these pandemics, that we are your children, that we have power and purpose, and that we're able to do great things. That Jesus was able to prosper in the time of Herod, and we can do so in the time of Trump. Remind us that we're here on purpose for such a time as this. And while we might have to run over obstacles and leap over mountains, we also have the power to tell the mountains to be cast into the sea. There's great work to be done, great steps and great strides to be taken, and we are the ones called to do it. Remind us of the reboot of this season. Remind us of the thing we almost let go of, the chance we almost forgot about, the second chance you gave us to do it again. We thank you for this outlet, for this format, for this opportunity. We thank you for the conversations that people are having that used to be Texas, but are now hour long, that used to be quick, that now are steeped in love and time and engagement. Thank you for this outlet. Thank you, Lord God, for this panel. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this grace. Thank you for this mercy. Thank you for this peace. Thank you for this power. And above all else, thank you for this love. When nothing else could help, we got this. We got this love thing that hosts rent parties, that covers one another's children, that is the original neighborhood watch, that knows how to pray for somebody and get a word through, that takes care of kids when mama's working 3 jobs. We got this love thing covered. Remind us of that, and remind us that you have kept us and covered us and comforted us in the midst of it all. Thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for peace and power. Thank you for hope and help. Thank you for what you're working out in us right now. Peace, peace, peace. Remind us that patience comes in waiting, not something happening fast, but in waiting. We remind us daily that they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. So thank you for renewed strength while we wait. And for this and all the things you do so well, for this and all the ways you're blessing every household in this conversation right now. For this, peace, power, and hope and help, grace and mercy, light and love. We say thank you. And that is why, without one doubt, why we scream and we shout that we keep on trusting. For your word is true. You've already done what you said you
would do.
Shade, that means there's power in the blood. Amen. And so it is.
Thank you so much, Pastor, for that wonderful blessing of a prayer. And thank you, the lovely forever beauty queen, Miss Elizabeth Clifford, for Mr. Future Nobel Prize winning journalist, Mr. Nathan James. Thank you so much. And for my homie, the co-host with the mostest. Thank you so much. And for all of you watching and listening, paying attention and praying attention. Thank you so much. Everybody be safe, be patient. We got this.
It's time, y'all. It's time. It's this thing that I'm holding in my hand, this telephone, this camera. It is quite powerful. Social media is powerful. We can do something with this. If we want to change, we can really, truly make it happen. You know, we sit out here and talk about, oh, we need the next so-and-so and this and that. No, you don't. No, you don't. Start in your own home. Start with you.
Dark brown shade of my skin only adds color to my tears. That splash against my hollow bones that rocks my soul. Looking back over my false dreams that I once knew, wondering why my dreams never came true. Is it because I'm black? Somebody tell me, what can I do? Oh, something's holding me back. I wonder, is it because I'm black? It is wonderful pity. I was raised in a ghetto city. Mama, she worked so hard to earn every penny. Oh, Lord, something holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Like a child stealing his first piece of candy and got caught. People around life's corner, but somewhere I got lost. Something is holding me back. I wonder, is it because I'm black? Somebody tell me, what can I do? Will I survive? Or will I die? Oh, it keeps on holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Dark brown shades of my skin Oh, something is holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Yeah. Oh, something's holding me back. I wonder, is it because I'm black? Whoa, something is holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Oh, something is holding me back. Is it because I'm black? Oh, it keeps on holding me back. Is it because I'm black?
It's time, y'all. It's time.
Hi, everybody. You're in the basement with Javon and Therese. This is Melba Moore.
All I gotta say is I thank you.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Therese on the microphone. Music politics are just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with Javon and Therese. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with Javon and Therese. Yeah. Let's see who we got today. Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody. Whatever it is, it's gonna be good. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
All our bosses though, Jay. Like she got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out.
You can send me some cologne, cause I mean, you know. Yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
And we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
well, thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.
All I gotta say